Alright, what is up? This is my follow-up review on the Samsung Impression. If you haven't already seen the first part of my review, click right here, or you can also click down in the description bar, down there. Alright, so this is my second part. Now that I'm a little bit more familiar with the phone, and I've gotten to use it for about a week, maybe a week and a half, I think, yeah. I've learned kind of the tips and tricks of using this. So I just thought I'd kind of share. First of all, remember I was talking about this sound icon here? Well, if you turn down the volume all the way, it does get a little slash through it there. So it does, show you that you have no sound, but it still is kind of stupid for me because my old one had sound coming out of the sound thing when the sound was up, and it just kind of looks like it's sitting there. So I always get confused on whether or not that means I have sound or not, but that's most likely just my stupidity. I was talking about how it needs to be quicker to get to messaging. Well, the quickest way I've found to get to messaging is from the lock screen. You flip it and that unlocks it. Then there's a button down here that is a messaging button. If you push that, you're already in making a message. So you type in your message, then you have to push send to, then you have to go to contacts, then you have to type in whatever contact you want, and then add, and then send. So that's pretty much the quickest way I've found to send a message. There we go. So that's a little bit quicker, but like I said, I still wish there was a button down here to push to send. Like if there was this button to go to messaging, and then you type your message, and then you push that button again to send it, that would be the greatest thing in the world, but they just can't do that. So another thing that I found cool is if you're on the home page and you push the back button, you get this handy little calendar that it's pretty cool. I mean, I like it. It's pretty handy. You create an event. You got your title, start date, start time. Then you can have an alarm go off if you want. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. That's pretty much all I had to say about that. But I do use it, and it's kind of handy to have. Alright, one thing that still pisses me off that I didn't notice before is you can't change this background, the lock background. It cycles between like 7 different pictures, but you can never change it. And that's kind of lame because I mean that's the one picture that I'd like to change is my lock picture, because that's what shows most of the time. I mean that in the background, the wallpaper here, but I mean I think the lock paper really shows more than even the wallpaper does. So it'd be kind of cool if I could change that, but apparently they just didn't think about that while making this. Another thing that really annoys me, and I've never heard of a phone doing this, but anytime on any phone that I've ever seen in my life, including house phones, when somebody calls you or texts you, it'll light up and it'll say this person's calling, and it'll also vibrate and make the sound. This phone doesn't do that, and I've looked through the settings and tried to change it, and I can't for the life of me find the setting. I really don't think it has one. It'll sit there and it'll ring and it'll vibrate, but it'll be completely dark. It'll be like just like that, and it'll ring. So I mean, if it's loud, if the room's loud, I would not tell that I was getting a message. I have a message that I haven't read yet. I have a voicemail. I would know because the phone doesn't light up at all. It just makes the noise. I mean, afterwards, if I come over here later and push the unlock button, it'll say, oh yeah, by the way, you have a missed call. But I mean, that's just really stupid. I don't know why they would do that. And I've looked through the settings because I mean that's so bizarre that I was sure that I maybe screwed up a setting, but I haven't found it yet. So that's pretty lame, I must say. And finally, one thing that's been pissing me off is the fact that it's frozen on me several times. If anyone else has this phone, please comment and let me know if it's just this one or if it's the phone in general. But I've had it a week and a half, and I've already had it freeze 3 times. And the way that it freezes is terrible because it doesn't freeze like the screen doesn't just freeze. What'll happen is it won't send messages. It'll just it'll say sending, sending, sending. It'll never send, and then I'll go out of it, and then I'll retype the message and push send, sending, sending, sending. Nothing ever happens, and eventually, I mean, it says I have bars and it says I have service, but it just won't send. And then I'll turn it off, turn it back on. It'll do it again. I'll turn it off, turn it back on, and eventually it'll start working again. But yeah, it's bizarre. And then I had one time that the screen just completely froze and I couldn't do anything. And it took me a good like 10 minutes of pressing buttons randomly to get it to even turn off. Then I turned it back on and it was fine. So yeah, just some bizarre freezing habits with this thing. I don't know if it's just my phone, if I got a dud, or if it's the impression as a whole, but yeah. So that's pretty much about it by this phone. I don't think there's really anything else I can tell you about it. I do still like it, I guess. I think I might like my old phone better. I had the VU. Actually, I have it right here. Hold on. This phone. It's not on, but I liked this phone a lot. It's cracked, and the speaker broke. That's why I had to get a new one. But I like this phone a lot, and if anyone's looking for a phone and these are still sold, I would recommend it because it's really good. But this phone isn't bad. I wouldn't say it's a terrible phone or anything. It's just there's a lot of things wrong with it, and there's a lot of little things that, of course, piss me off. But overall, I still say it's a good phone. And that's about it. If you have any comments on this, comment in the box down below. And also, if you want me to review anything at all, I mean anything in the world that you think I might have and would be able to say my take on it, comment and let me know. So thanks guys.